Okay, today we're going to go ahead and talk about the coordinate plane here. Keep in mind the coordinate plane is no more than two lines, okay, that are perpendicular to each other. So in this case, we have an x-axis where your line is going right to left, and you also have your y-axis where you're going up and down. Okay, so those lines are going to intersect at a 90-degree angle. This point right here would be called the origin, and that point would be 0, 0. Okay, now, when we talk about the coordinate plane, you have four quadrants, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4. This will be our first one. And in our ordered pair, you're going to have an X and you're going to have a Y. Okay, so then over here you have, that's going to be quadrant 2. You got X and Y, made a little mistake. Quadrant 3, you also have an X and a Y. And then quadrant 4, same scenario, X and Y. Now, your X is going to be positive here, and your Y is going to be positive. So keep in mind your numbers might be, let's say that this ordered pair right here, this would be 5 and 1. They're positive numbers. Okay, now when we look at coordinate number 2, your X is going to be negative because you're going to the left, but your Y is going to be positive. So let's say, for example, you have an ordered pair here. That ordered pair, your X is going to be negative, so you're going over to the left. That's going to be a negative 2. And then your Y value, if you're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, is going to be 5. So keep in mind, X is negative, Y is going to be positive. Coordinate number 3, okay, you're going over to the left, which is negative. You're going down, which is also negative. So your X as well as your Y will also be negative. So for example, if we have, let's say, a point right here, okay, in this case you're going over to the left, it's going to be a negative 1, and your Y is also going to be a negative 1 since you're going down. Okay, so now we're going to basically talk about what's called collinear lines, or collinear is a point collinear, meaning does this fall on the line. So now when we talk about collinear, we have a linear equation. Linear means line. So now here's our linear equation. Okay, now how can you tell if this equation is actually linear or a straight line? Basically, remember your slope right here. Okay, the x on it, when you talk about y is equal to mx plus b, okay, your x portion of it, the exponent is going to be 1. Okay, since it's 1, then it's going to be a straight line. If you have it 2, it's going to be more of a parabola. But we're only talking about collinear, we're talking about linear equations. So how do we graph this? So the first thing we can do is just, the easiest thing is set x to 0, or your independent variable to 0. Okay, so then when you set x to 0, all you're doing is substituting. Y is going to equal to a negative 3. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 3 is going to be a negative 3. So our first order pair is going to be 0 and negative 3. Well, we only have 1 point. You're going to need 2 points to at least have a line. So let's go ahead and just try another number. Let's make it easy. Why not just try 1? Okay, so we're saying we're going to set x to equal 1. So we're saying basically it's 2 times 1, which is going to be 2, minus 3. Your y is going to equal to, what's that, a negative 1? So in this case, now we have two ordered pairs. We have 0, negative 3, and we have 1 and negative 1. Okay, so then we'll go ahead and graph that. So keep in mind, 0, we're not going anywhere on the x-axis, but we are going down. 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be our first point, which is once again 0 minus 3. And then our second point is going to be 1 and negative 1. So we're going to go over to the right one, but we're going to go down. And that ordered pair would be 1 and negative 1. And you draw a line. Now, in the workbook we talked about are these points collinear, which means any point on this line would be considered collinear.